Hey bros, welcome back. We're going to get started on the second part of our little tutorial series I'm running for you. The first one we covered BiomeEd, which is the biome editor, how to set things up so that you can get your snow biomes back or get rid of snow biomes or make sure it doesn't rain in the desert anymore if it's been transported to, transformed into, you know, plains or whatever. So this right here is the second one that we have installed, and this basically is going to be WorldEdit and WorldGuard. For the most part, while we're using WorldEdit to mark out regions, we're not going to be using the WorldEdit properties that will cause you to transform territory. You know, we're not going to be building with WorldEdit, so I've left all those commands out and they're disabled because you know, we want to build legit here. If we're going to build using WorldEdit, we might as well just put it in creative mode. But okay, the first thing we're going to do is I would recommend you download and install WorldEdit CUI. Stands for WorldEdit Client User Interface. Now the actual WorldEdit program is already on the server, so you don't have to download anything to use it. All the commands and all will work fine. But what the CUI does is it gives you a graphical interface so you can actually see what you're doing instead of just having to kind of imagine or remember. For instance, let's pretend the stake is what we use to mark territory. If we wanted to mark the area between these four torches as the area we're going to use, we would left click on that block and then right click on that block, and we would get a message saying that we had chosen that territory. Now the thing is, you have to remember that territory is what you've chosen, which in the case of this little area is not that hard. But if you had chosen a large area, or we were in polygon mode and we're going to mark out this circle, it might be a little difficult. So what the WorldEdit CUI does, now I'm using the actual tool. The actual tool you're going to use for marking out territory is a wooden axe, because who in their right mind uses a wooden axe? So you'll see the messages this time. We're going to mark the left territory. Alright, you see that? We get the first position, and it drew a box. As you see, we've got a green box showing where the first position is. So we're going to go mark the second territory with a right hand click, and there you go. There's the box we have chosen. And the World CUI allows you to see the boxes of the areas you've chosen there. Okay? So that is why I recommend downloading and installing it. I think it just, if I remember right, you do it like every other mod. You just download it and drop it into your jar file. I'd have to take a look to be sure, and I will leave the instructions for that here in just a second as well. But there you go. That's why I recommend it. Okay? Alright. Alright, I took a look to be sure, and yes, whenever you download WorldEdit, you'll unzip it, like unzip it into a folder, and inside of that you will see a folder named Classes. And you just want to open up Classes, open up your Minecraft jar with like 7-zip or some other kind of zip program, and just drop all the files that are inside Classes into your Minecraft jar. Okay? And whenever you do that, that is going to install the program. You've also got to have ModLoader installed as well. So remember, you got to have ModLoader installed, and then you got to install WorldEdit CUI, and it will allow you to have this graphical interface that you're seeing right here. Alright, so having done that, now we are going to get rid of this selection since we don't want it. So the way you do that is just do //SEL. And that will clear the selection. Okay? Now the other way you could have done it as well, let's make a selection here. Alright? You could just click somewhere else. And it would change your selection, but it's always going to have the box on there. If you just want it cleared, it's the //select, and that will clear it. Alright, so why don't we, since I'm going to do this first as in polygon mode, since we're going to do it first, the first thing we're going to do is get rid of their ability to spawn here on this grass, what we would do first is we would choose this area here, and then I'm going to choose the far end down here. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to choose this block as well. Alright, so now you see we have chosen this entire bunch of blocks here that have the grass. Now you want to be careful to actually click on the block. If you click on the grass up above it, I believe you would be choosing the grass block, and you would not be choosing the actual flat block. Okay? Now this is what we're going to be doing the majority of the time, because most of the time that we're doing this, we're going to be choosing areas that have like minecart tracks laid on them. Now, most of you have already Pigman-proof, spawn-proofed your territories around it by putting down half blocks. You know, they're not going to spawn on the half block, but the actual strip down the middle that has your track on it, they are going to spawn on that because, you know, as y'all have seen, it does not, the railroad track does not prevent them from spawning, and light levels do not prevent them from spawning. So, okay, there you go. We have chosen the area now. Okay guys, now that we've got this region selected, and that's what these areas are called, they're called regions. Since we've got this entire area of grass here selected, we need to define it. And this right here is where you actually create the region. We've got it marked off, but now we have to create it. So we go region, define, give it a name. In this case, we're going to name it G1. I'm going to use G for Gnarlo, since I'm the one creating this region. This will be the first one I've created. So there you go. Saved it as region G1. You can get a list of them by typing in region list. You see, we've only got the one region right now. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a flag. So you do region, flag, the name of the region, G1, and in this case we want mob spawning deny. Alright, so now we can check for the info on it. Region, info, G1. As you see, it tells it's a cuboid, which means that that's just the way that we chose it. And mob spawning deny. So no mobs will spawn on this region anymore. No pigmen will spawn on this, and no ghast will spawn on this. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and unselect it and make the selection disappear. There we go. That just clears the selection. The region stays in here, does not go anywhere. As you see, region list, see G1 is still here. It just clears the selection off the screen so you can do what you need to again. Now, I've built this little thing. What if you've got a corner that you want your track to go around? You know, as long as you got a nice straight pathway, you can always click there, and we can do long hallways that way. But what if you got a corner to go around? Well, one way to do it is to choose everything up to the corner like this, and name that a region, and set the way you want the region to be. Okay? And then make another region right next to it that butts into it, and name this a region, and select the flag that you want on it. So we would have two regions to go around this corner. Alright, another way to do it would be to choose your first corner here, choose your second corner over here, and then that would cover the entire corner and everything. However, then you get a bunch of overlap, because it's going to build a box between those two corners. So suddenly you got stuff that's out here outside the pathway that you're also marking as a region. And we don't want to do that, because with our corners we'd end up with huge portions of the nether out here that were marked for no mob spawning. So let me clear that. What we need to do, and this is another way to do it, putting up two different regions to go around the corner is perfectly legitimate, but if you want to, you do select and poly. Now what this does now is your tool goes into polygon mode. So you mark the first one the same as ever with a left click. Now you go along and you select the rest of your points with a right click. See, it chooses everything between those 2 points. Now, it chooses everything between those 3 points. See how it makes a triangle. Now come over here. It's added that point to it. Do this, and it's added that point. And do that. Alright, let me jump up here. Now, do you see how it's made a polygon that goes around the corner? It doesn't come outside. You just bounded it inside. So now it's chosen all those blocks inside there, and you could name that a region and set your parameters for it. So that way you could, if you wanted, start at one end of your track, like right here, and mark polygon mode all the way out until you got to your portal, and have it just one long continuous region. Okay, so that's one way of doing it as well. Let me mark that off. Alright, I'm going to put it back into cuboid mode. Select cuboid. That was... Select cuboid. There we go. That puts it back in the original mode where you choose one corner and choose the other corner, and it makes a box in between, okay?